This is Optimal Living Daily, episode 94, Decluttering Mental Clutter by Ryan Nicodemus of Minimalists.com.
Get ready to maximize your potential with Optimal Living Daily, the podcast that brings you the best in personal development and productivity every day of the week. Your optimal life awaits. Now here's your host, Justin Malik.
Hey, welcome to Optimal Living Daily. I'm Justin Malik, of course, bringing you the best blog content I can find as usual. And back to you with another post by Minimalists, who I actually haven't read from in about a week and a half, which is unusual for this show. I try to get them in as much as possible, but with the new authors and some others that I hadn't read in a long time, this post got pushed back a little, so I'm happy to have them back on, or Ryan Nicodemus specifically. And speaking of them, you can be in a pretty small raffle and have a great chance to win their book, Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life, if you do something for me. Actually, it's really doing something for yourself because you'll benefit too, and that is to check out my new podcast. It's called Optimal Finance Daily, and it's the same premise. The only difference is being that it strictly covers personal finance and money, and it's 5 days a week instead of 7 days a week. And also I found someone to host it so that I can continue doing this podcast. He's a great host and reader of blogs, so if you like this show, check it out. And to be entered into the raffle to win the Minimalist book, all you have to do is subscribe to that show, Optimal Finance Daily, and leave an honest rating and review. Then shoot me an email and let me know which podcast app you did that in, and I'll put you into the raffle, which is happening in just 2 days, so you only have 1 day left to do this. So that's it. Let's get this going and start optimizing your life. Decluttering Mental Clutter by Ryan Nicodemus of Minimalists.com. Those voices inside your head won't be quiet. All you can hear is your boss telling you to have those reports complete by Friday, or your daughter reminding you there's soccer practice this Saturday, or a parent's voice telling you they need your help cleaning the house this weekend. Most of us have somewhere to be each day, not to mention the everyday fire drills we get put through at work or at home. It can feel very overwhelming, and our minds can get noisy. Some of us even have echoes of voices from experiences from the past. How do you deal with all that mental clutter? Mental clutter is something I've worked on my entire life. I used to feel like no matter what, I constantly had some sort of mental clutter. I always had something going on in my mind. If it wasn't something new causing that anxious, chaotic feeling, it was something from the past creeping back into the present to haunt me. Some days were worse than others, but it was there every day. And then, after fixing several other parts of my life, I was able to cut down on the mental clutter. Health. Your mind and your body aren't standing in separate corners of the room. It's much easier for a physically unhealthy person to experience a poor mental state. The brain is a delicate organ and we must treat it right. If you're interested in learning more, I recommend Change Your Brain, Change Your Life by Daniel G. Amen. I was impressed with Amen's in-depth explanation of the ties between the human brain and the human body. I notice I feel more anxious when I have an empty stomach, have not exercised in a few days, eat junk food, and don't get enough sleep. I discovered once I changed those things, the mental clutter began clearing away. Improving my health was an important first step. Circumstances. If you're like me, the old me, then you're saying to yourself you can't change your circumstances. And with that attitude, we're right. Once I decided I had enough of the mental clutter though, I had no choice but to change my circumstances. I had no choice but to remove myself from circumstances that added to the problem. I stopped associating with certain people, changed my spending habits, downsized my possessions. I started with myself and in time, changed my circumstances. Over time, things change, and instead of letting them change on their own or letting things change me, I decided to change myself. And some of those changes were difficult. I stopped associating with a few folks who encouraged bad habits and the world didn't stop spinning. I was laid off from my 6-figure career and I didn't die. I set new expectations with friends and family and they supported me. My circumstances are completely different now from what they were a short while ago, and I'm infinitely happier. Don't take this the wrong way. I'm not suggesting everyone needs to quit their job or take dire actions, but please understand your problems likely aren't as bad as you think. Don't be fooled by anyone. You are in control of your circumstances. You are in control of you. Past troubles. This was one of my biggest issues, my haunting past. I've made mistakes, I've let people down, and I've made dumb decisions. I've been extremely hard on myself, unnecessarily hard, neurotic about the mistakes and bad decisions I made. I'd often fall asleep replaying my whole day in my head, searching every interaction and conversation for mistakes so I could improve myself. Now, every time I feel anxiety caused from some past experience, I ask myself a few different questions. Is that situation relevant now? Was that situation even that serious? Am I blowing it out of proportion? Was that situation in my control? Does what that person, family member, or friend said actually have validity, or are they just acting out? These questions helped me discern the things that mattered and didn't matter so I could stop being so hard on myself. I also had to learn what things were in and out of my control. If something was out of my control, I accepted it so I could focus on the things I could control, the things I could change. What makes you tick? To find out what made me tick, I drew a vertical line down a piece of paper. I labeled the left side bad days and the right side good days. For each scenario, good day or bad day, I thought of the foods I ate, people I saw, places I visited, etc. I couldn't remember every detail, but it gave me a few places to start. To get better, I knew I needed to identify the problems and then find the appropriate tools to combat them. Those tools can be different for everyone, but don't expect to fight the voice in your head on your own. You just listened to the post titled Decluttering Mental Clutter by Ryan Nicodemus of the Minimalists.com. That actually reminds me of a spreadsheet that I use that tracks my mood every day. It's kind of like a little journal in Excel that I use. I do a little description of what I did that day and then my mood. And I tracked it for a long time, like about, a couple of years. And then I'd go back and look on my highest mood days. What did I do? Who did I spend time with? What did I eat? And I found that my highest mood days were ones where I spent the time with people and friends that I really love, which is very strange to me because I'm a very introverted person and enjoy that time alone. So this little paper split down the middle thing is another way to do that. Just track how you're doing each day, good days and bad days, and then make a little list, just like he said, and you can find out what works for you and what doesn't, what makes a really good day. And that essay I just read is actually part of their book, Essential, which is a collection of their posts. And once again, their book, Minimalism, Live a Meaningful Life, is up for grabs to a lucky winner who does these 3 things. Number 1, subscribe to my new podcast, Optimal Finance Daily. Number 2, leave an honest rating and review. And then 3, just email me letting me know that you did it and which podcast app you used. And then you'll be in the small raffle and have a great chance to win their book on Wednesday. And tomorrow I'm going to read a post about meditation, which is one of my favorite things. But in the meantime, go check out Optimal Finance Daily, and I'll see you there where your optimal life awaits.
You've been listening to Optimal Living Daily. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date on each new episode and head to oldpodcast.com. That's OLDpodcast.com for a free gift as well as more actionable tips and resources to help you maximize your potential. Thanks for joining us, and remember, your optimal life awaits.